to Fight Talks, presented today by PeoriaLife.com. Today we've got Michael Price with Core Fitness as our guest. Michael, welcome.
Hey, how we doing, fellas?
I'm doing well. And also my co-anchor, Anshuman Reddy, the
Yes.
man. Anshuman, the man, Reddy. Yeah. Mike, I have so many questions, things I want to dig into. First, I'd love to just hear a little bit about you and your story. You know, you're an entrepreneur, you're a community activist. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now.
Well, me and a couple buddies, we I used to work at Title Boxing. This is like about 11 years ago, and I
Title,
came
what'd
I
you do for
came off
them?
of competing. I was working at Caterpillar, and I was no longer working there. I was done competing in kickboxing. So my brother kind of told me about Title Boxing, and they were looking for maybe some trainers to come work there. And so I was like, I'll check it out. I wasn't working at the time, so I went by and got the job. Me and a couple other people got the job there. So we did that for about a year. And then unfortunately, it didn't work out for that owner.
Well, so what was that? Was that just you going in there as a trainer?
Yeah, just a trainer. Yep, just in there as a trainer, running classes, 4 or 5 times a week. And they kind of just went off of what you knew, and then you kind of learned the title way of coaching a class, like how they wanted you to do it. So you got trained for like a week on that. Then after that, they let you fly. So me and a couple of the other trainers, we did it their way, but we kind of did it our own way as well, because we were listening to the clients, and they were like, it's fine, but we don't like doing this all the time. So we kind of switched it up, just for the sake of the clients. So, fast forward a year, unfortunately, he had to shut down. But we had made such a impact on the members there that they were like, you guys have to open up something on your own. We don't
Yeah.
want to stop
That's
doing this. You guys need to open something.
that's
Well, hey,
very
real quick,
supportive.
why do you think it is? Well, that it shut down?
Well, being from the Peoria area, the price point was not friendly
That's
to
Well, what's
start
the
unfortunate.
with.
price?
Yeah, and I know it was $218 to start the
Oh,
membership. You
Oh,
needed
my heart.
first
Yep.
you needed first month's
Ouch.
payment, last month's payment, which was already, so that was like 59.9, so $60, $60. So that was already, that 120. Then you needed another 99.99 for the franchise fee. That would allow you to go to any Title Boxing in North America. So like if you just happen to be in Texas, you could stop in, but the chances of you going out of town on vacation and working out, it wasn't like how it is now. Back then a lot of people weren't leaving town and going to work out on vacation. You're on vacation. So, but you had to pay that fee regardless. So it was 218 just to sign up. So people would come try it, like it, and then they would be, and I got to go ask my wife. I got to go check. As soon as you hear, those types of excuses on the way out, well, let me go check with my wife, or I'll go check with my husband. They're not coming back, because if you walk in somewhere and you're walking in to buy something, you're not going to turn around and say, well, let me go check to see how, you walked in, looking to buy a membership. Once you heard the price, turned them off. So we lost a lot of clients that way.
Well, where were you? Was that in the heart of
Yeah,
Peoria?
so it was, where for all the Peoria and East Peoria natives, it's where GameStop is in East Peoria, right across from PetSmart.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
You
I know
got
exactly where
Qdoba,
that's
you
at.
got Arby's. It sits right next to Arby's. It's a GameStop now, and I believe it's some type of seafood place. But that building, that seafood side of that building, used to be Title Boxing.
Oh, that's right. And didn't they used to do a bunch of shows like over by the bridge in that area? Way
Yep,
back in like
yep,
2008 through 2013. I
yep,
think it was
yep. Right around the
Silverback
bend.
Promotions.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah. That was actually one of the things that like inspired me to get into martial arts because like I saw these
And
guys
they
doing those shows. Man, it was awesome.
wow.
and they had the right idea, because it is a heavily traveled, thoroughfare. But the only thing is, if you're traveling that, you're usually going somewhere to begin with. You're not looking to stop. You're usually either going point A or point B. So it had a lot of traffic. We just didn't have a lot of people stopping. And once they did, and people can exaggerate the price that, oh, they wanted $300 to start, even though it was 200. People can always kind of over exaggerate that experience. So, like I said, he was a good guy, and I don't want to say they duped him, but what the way they sold it to him and how he could do it and what he was able to do, they kind of hamstringed him. So by the end of that year, he was losing more than what he was making, so he had to shut it down. But again, we had made a connection with the members that were there, and I think we never broke 100 members in that year. But he had 85 to 90 members in there, so more than half were, oh, you have to open something. We don't, you guys need to open a gym. So
So
me
yeah,
and
if you
the
got the audience, like
yeah, so me and the
go.
two, me and the two partners that we were with, we knew one thing about business: the bank will not do any moving. If the bank is foreclosing on you, they're not going to come in and move the stuff out. They'll take a money offer because they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to resell it. They don't want to, if you owe $1,000 and somebody can give them $800, they'll take the $800 rather than come in and move the $1,000 treadmill. So we went to the bank, found out how much he owed, gave the bank
So
an
you just
offer.
said
They was like, sure, we'll take it.
that's
We'll
awesome.
take it. Oh yeah, y'all can have everything in there. And
So what birthed from that?
so from there, we found the building. We had the equipment. We knew we had at least 60 members coming. So
That's a nice role.
so we went over, found the building. We did the manual labor. We painted, we constructed, we put the structure up, the steel structure, hung the bags. We got everything in place, but we knew we had at least 60 members coming to
Wow.
start with. So we found a friendly price point. We did a soft open for all those people that stuck with us, and because we knew we would lose an audience because he shut down in June. We opened the business. We got legalized and did the LLC in July. We opened October 1st, but we did a soft opening like say September 25th or 26th.
What
So
year was
we
that?
had all those people that stuck with us, brung them in. We did a class. They loved it. They went and told all their friends, and they're telling people. So when we opened on October 1st, we had those 60 members, and I think within that week we had another six. So we had like 120 members.
Well, don't you
Like
have like two different businesses right now? One's like a strength training business, and the other
once
one's
so yeah,
boxing.
so yep. So fast forward 7 years, I did the fitness side for 7 years, but I was always competitive. So a buddy of mine told me about another vacant building, and he knew I was training kids to box, and he was like, "Well, man, you can probably do it out of there, and you know, we'll support you if you go." So I was like, "Hey, if you'll support me, I'll give it a shot and talk to it. Talked it over with my wife, and she was like, "Well, if you think we can do it, let's do it." So then I opened up the Core Training Center. So the other place is Core Fitness and Boxing. We do fitness and we do boxing, and now we have the Core Training Center. So we do boxing,
Oh,
kickboxing, jujitsu, Kali Extremo, and we do wrestling. So we do all that, and we train it competitive or sport. So you're not getting the fitness aspect here; you're getting the actual training behind all of those arts.
yeah. I don't think a lot of people realize just how different those two things can be.
Yeah, and like I said, one is fitness. Like one is a where we make sure you're hitting the bag safe, but I'm not harping on your form or your hands being down, or I'm not, because you're there to get a workout. You're not there to learn how to box. When you come over to the training center, I don't care how much cardio you're getting. It's not about getting you a cardio workout. We need to get it right. So we slow it down and we make sure we get every minute detail correct because you're learning a real combat sport. And a lot of these kids, like say, they compete jiu-jitsu tournaments, boxing tournaments. So they have to have the sport, the science behind the actual boxing down, not just the fitness, the physical side. So
Well, yeah, and speaking of that, so talking about the tournaments and stuff. I mean, now fast forward to now. We're looking in just a couple of weeks here. You're going to be hosting or promoting a show. So how, I mean, it kind of seems like you just organically grew into that. Like that was just the next step for you. Tell me a little bit
Yes,
about that transition.
and we did. So we had a few small exhibitions because my brother runs the Gorilla Pit, which is a powerlifting gym. So he
Oh,
would
cool.
hold a powerlifting meet, once a year. Now I think he's doing like two a year now, but back then he was doing one a year. And he knew we were doing from the fitness side, we would do the core Olympics where we would set up a whole bunch of obstacles. You get like a team of four and you would compete in these challenges to get the best time. So we did like, it's like an Olympic game, like a real world road rules challenge type thing. We did that.
Cool.
But later on that night, we would hold boxing and kickboxing exhibitions. And my old kickboxing instructor Ryan Blackerby, he
Oh, no
held like a
kidding.
Muay Thai.
Blackerby?
Yeah. So yeah,
No idea.
he coached me, and he held a Muay Thai competition in that morning. So kids got to come out and do like a Muay Thai type competition. Then that night we held the boxing and then actual sport Muay Thai competitions that night. It was just an exhibition, but so we kind of knew what we would need to put on a show. And again, fast forward to having real good support from a lot of guys that I train, and they're the young kids, but their mothers and fathers, they kicked in. So we bought a boxing ring because the ring is one of the hardest part about securing a ring to do a show is you always got to go elsewhere to find a ring. So so with
It's
good support, we
expensive.
were able to buy a ring, and we did that. I want to say December or January. So once we did that, we knew that I said, well, if we get everything right, we need to target May. Our first show was going to be in April, but USA Boxing didn't have any open slots in April. So then we went for May. They had no open spots in May. So then we went for June. Nothing in June. So we slid in. We barely slid
That
in
was
and got
busy.
July. And once they said they were open, we just needed to find a venue. So we kind of sat and was like, well, do we go big or do we keep it regular and just see what happens?
I'd say you
So
went big.
we all voted on, yeah, if we're gonna do it, we might as well go as big as we can. So we
I mean,
contacted the Civic Center and got everything arranged that way. The dates lined up. So we said, and I told a lot of the kids, I was like, now, for your first fight, for you guys that's having the first fight, this is usually not a first fight venue. You get the mom and the bingo hall where you got the people playing bingo on the side and the fights going on in the back. I said, so you actually get a real venue to showcase your first fight. So, you know, don't take it for granted because you actually get a good platform for your first opening fight. And a lot of us, our first opening bouts, it was never at home either. We were always on the road somewhere.
well,
So
speaking about
support,
your bouts,
yeah.
which bout are you most excited for?
Uh
I know.
I got a couple. So I got two little guys, debut guys. I'm excited for them. But Var Milo is he's been boxing. I think he might be at 28 fights now, somewhere in the upper 20s. He has he's been making a lot of noise, but not a lot of he can't fight at home. So a lot of his hometown people has never really seen him fight because all his fights are Texas, Iowa. He's never in his own backyard fighting. So for somebody with that type of resume right now and competing, and for people to actually get a chance to come see him, locally, I think that's one of the. I'll be happy to see him do that. And like I said, we got a lot of debut people, but again, it's their first fight, so
Well,
not taking any love off the first fight, but if you've done this 18 to 20 times with no backyard support, it gets real cold out there when every time you go to another city, you're the visiting guy, and this guy
what's
has
tell me what's
18 to 20, 30 people in the stands rooting for him, and you got your coach, your mom, and maybe another guy that came with you yelling for you. So that was the hard part.
so what about him is going to make this fight more exciting than some of the other ones? I mean, I love fighting in general, like, but I know generally you've got like he's either going to be coming in with like a sweet lead hook that he's just going to be landing. Like, what am I looking for
Well,
from
he
this guy?
he is
Where's the fun?
he is he's his technique is real smooth, and his speed. Like I think his speed. Like people are going to be like, man, it's rare to see people, humans move that fast in person.
Oh,
You can see it on TV, but to see somebody move like that in person, like he's real technique's real smooth, but his speed
not only
and his power for his size, I think he's only 147.
the
I was going to
best.
say, what's his weight class?
He's one, yeah, I think he's about 147, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I'll
141, but
let's go.
but he's hitting like he's about 185, 190. He carries a lot of power in his punch though.
So
Where does he train out of?
Oh, so he trains with me here out of the core training center.
Oh,
So
Him
like
and his-
say like I want to, I'm brand new to this, I want to, sign up and learn how to box from you. How do I do that? Do I is there like a website that I can
Yeah,
go
we got a
on? Or should I-
website.
do I
Yeah,
call you?
you got Core Training Center 309 is a website, or you can reach me from the Core Fitness and Boxing. Like I got both those intertwined. So whether you call one or the other, you're going to reach me, and then I can kind of guide you in the right direction. So when we get to talking on the phone, I just kind of always give that general question: are you looking for sport? Are you looking for fitness? Then if it's for sport, I give you the information here for the Morton location. If it's for fitness, I give you the East Peoria, and we're also doing fitness out of Landmark in Peoria as well. So
oh,
Oh, no
so you
kidding.
can go to Landmark in Peoria. You can come to East Peoria if you want the fitness. We're doing all the sport and competitive out of Morton. So
I know there's a
But
lot
yeah,
of
we got,
controversy with that landmark building recently.
yeah, Core Training Center 309. Or our phone number 698 core. You dial 698 core, you're going to get a hold of somebody. Facebook, you can find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram. So there's, especially with social media now, a lot of people, they don't call, they text, they're emailing, they're doing something. It's rare to get that phone call.
I wanted to bring it up because I when I first was getting started into kickboxing, boxing, MMA. Like I just wanted to get into something. I didn't really care what it was. It was anxiety inducing. It was like, who do I talk to? How much money is it going to cost me? Like I even showed up at some of the places with meetings set and they just ghosted me. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So when I found, the gym that I wound up going to, like it was really, really nice. They kind of just, embraced me and, let me into their little family there. It was really cool.
Yeah. And
Anytime we can create
a
a pathway to get the, people into the gym or help make that a little easier, I'd like to.
Yeah. And that's one of our biggest things here. We want to make sure you don't feel like a gym number. You feel like a gym member. You don't want to be the 30th member of the gym. You want to be, you want it to feel like a family. So that's the main thing.
Be just like a bankroll for somebody,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like when I have questions, I have questions about stuff. Like I think about, fighting when I was like in between sessions. I'm like thinking about the thing that we were training from start to finish. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, but who do I talk to? And I have to wait till my next session to talk to somebody. And yeah, I don't know.
I love
fighting.
Yeah, and for most of my guys, I'm always available. They could text me, and they got a question. I'm always available to answer questions. We stay late, like we tell people. We run you for an hour and a half, but usually it doesn't mean an hour and a half, because if people stay late and they got more questions and they want to go over more detail, we stay as long as that person needs to stay until they get that question answered. So
that's cool. Yeah, and see, I talked to one of the other podcasts before about Little Blackerby William. He helped me out so much with my kicks, making sure I was rolling my hip over and stuff, like putting my hands in the right place. Man, so it's cool to know that you trained under those people too, because they were awesome to work with.
Yeah, I believe when I got with Ryan, I think he just had stopped competing, and we were on Sheridan in Nebraska, and I was at home one night, and they were right next to you. I could hear everything going on, and my dad already had showed me he boxed in the Navy, and even though he had passed away, I was 15, 16, he started showing me how to box, Then he passed away when I was 17, but I already had like a
Oh,
foundation for boxing.
oh
Sorry to hear
wow.
that.
Yeah, so when I got with Ryan, I already had a foundation for boxing. Anyway, so once they showed me the kickboxing, they already knew. They was like, "Man, have you been doing, you been boxed or anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, just a little bit." So they can tell when they seen it. But yeah,
Oh
he
yeah.
was a man. Like I said, he was real influential. Like I said, one of the greatest coaches that I've worked under, because he listens and he kind of caters to your strength. So that's the same way I coach now. It's not how I want it done. I look at you and kind of tailor make it to what fits you best.
So
See, I can definitely say that about Ryan because like I've trained with him just a handful of times, and every single time I train with the guy, I'm walking away with some just piece of gold.
Yeah.
so
What's
I
that on you?
so I could you would you consider when your father taught you how to box and you look at it in retrospective, would you consider that one of the greatest gifts he gave you?
Oh yes. Yeah. Besides my my other three brothers, that was one of the greatest gifts he could give me. Something to remember him by. That I pass it down to my son. He can pass it down to his son. But it all started with him. And like I say, yeah, he did that in the Navy. And that was, besides the life lessons and the talks we would have when we go fishing, him showing me how to box. And that's something that will, it always stick with me, and I can always pass that down. And hopefully my kids pass it down and they pass it down, and they can say, yeah, great granddad showed, Grandpa Mike how to box, and now he showed everybody. And then it could live on forever as long as people take it and pass it the right way. So
So I was just gonna ask, like, what you wanted to see from the work that you're putting in here. And, I know there's everybody I've talked to that's involved with you and these training centers has got just a heart of gold. So I would love to hear a little bit more about your long term vision about what you want to see.
well, for me, for here, I would love to see it grow. We get a lot of kids that compete, but I want to see a lot of these kids turn into coaches, because a lot of kids aren't going to compete on the highest level, but they might have that knack for coaching. And then from there, I want to see everybody be upstanding young men and women, whether you continue to box or not. When you walk out of here, I hope we show you that you want to be positive in the community. You don't want to be the nuisance or the hindrance. You want to be the person that's helping somebody, in the community. So that's the main thing. And learning to realize that we're humans, everybody's going to make mistakes. You got to learn to let some stuff go, forgive some things, and kind of, look for the brighter side of stuff in people. And again, just hope that these young men and lady turn to be uh, great adults. What we're showing you now, if 10 years from now, one of these kids I remember when Coach Mike helped me out with this and that, and they kind of use that to solve a problem in their life. My job was well done. So
Awesome. And yes, small consistent efforts tend to
yeah,
pay off
that's
long
all it
term.
is. I mean, you can't change everybody. If you can change one person or help one person, you never know how far that'll go. So
So what happens after July 26th? So we got this big show happening at the Civic Center. What's next after that?
if we don't rumble in December, we're gonna look at the new year. We're gonna look at throwing another one here right at, we're gonna finish in July, and if we don't pick it up in December, we're gonna look for January.
Well, let me
Oh,
ask, like, what's your hope from that? Are you hoping to attract more professional boxers into the area? Or are you hoping to elevate more of our Central Illinois talent into the professional arena?
Well, great amateurs become great professionals, and that's what I hope that they pick up out of this. Learning how to box for a couple months and going pro, you'll never be as good as you could be if you take the amateur. USA Boxing is a excellent platform for amateur boxers to get the experience they need, because it's safe. They keep it real safe, keep it real clean. They try to make sure everybody's protected, so you don't have to take those lumps you take as a pro, as an amateur, and you can get that technique. So when you finally do go pro, you don't want to build a house with a hammer. You want to build a house with every tool available to build a house, and that's what amateur boxing to help you do. It'll help you get every tool you need available to be the best boxer. So my goal is to get, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kids, get them coming in the door and starting the boxing. And even if you're a 17 or 18-year-old young man or lady that wants to pick up boxing, we'll give you that stepping stone to start. Because Toby Robertson that's fighting, I believe he's 23, 24, so it's his first fight. So
Is that any relation to Kenny Robertson?
no, he's not. Nah.
I was gonna say, like, I literally wore this shirt for Kenny Robertson.
But he's 24, so you're never too late to start. Alan Benson, he had his first fight here, a couple, like last year and a half ago. He was 42 when he had his first fight. So you're never too late to start. But if you do plan on taking that professional route, you just have to know it's a lot more to it than showing up with boxing gloves on and saying,
I'm 37. So hearing Alan's story was really interesting, because my goal is to just get in the ring one time and just one and done it. And, got the footage of me, it's over.
I got a buddy now, my buddy Kurt. He was the same way. He said he wants to just do one. He wants to get in there, just do one. But I told him, once you get bit by the bug, want to turn into two.
Don't I know it, man? Like, I went into train. I'm like, I'm going to do this and get my fight done in the year. And then I was training for 3.5 years.
Yeah,
I loved it, man. I loved every second of it. And then on top of that,
gets you.
Dude, like, I was like, I love the workout. Like, doing like a full like Muay Thai or boxing workout, you just feel so just drained at the end of it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes, and again, I got some good coaches in place too, because they help with, I know a lot, but I don't know it all. And you need people that can bring a different perspective on the exact same thing, just a different perspective. And it helps the kids learn a lot more. I said, this is a good environment, and if you can't make it here, you're looking for a reason not to make it.
So one thing I would argue that having these boxing matches here will be a catalyst to having not just boxing matches, more boxing matches in the area, but other martial arts combat sport styles as well.
Yeah, I would love to be able to get Muay Thai kickboxing a platform to be able to do it local, because again, when I competed, it was never, I think I had the fight at the Riverplex, and I don't know what it took for Ryan to pull that off. But, to have a Muay Thai match in Peoria now, I mean, it's just, I haven't seen one in years.
So
the same with boxing. And there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talented kids here that, again, 15 to 20 people rooting for you could actually change the outcome of a fight. Just that adrenaline, just those people yelling and screaming for you could change the outcome of a fight. So sometimes it's nice to be able to fight in your own backyard and not be the visitor.
Yeah. So like
every time you compete.
Like one kid in Peoria Muay Thai called Dino Galgos, he competed recently at the was it the TBA? I'm not sure, but he won his match against an older opponent, and the kid was phenomenal, and he brought home a belt. So we have so many talented young people here, and we can also not only show off the talent we have here, but also convince multiple people from outside of Peoria to come here and compete as well. Because one big problem we have here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want people to realize they can come here and get just as good as of a show that you could get anywhere else. Like, you don't have to avoid Peoria to have a good show or a great venue. So, but then that comes with coaches and people here all pushing that one view, everybody has to have that same goal. Once you get too many opposite missions, it kind of all falls by the wayside because we're all going in different directions. So
I got a question for you. It's like, what fighter would you say has most inspired you since you've been on this journey?
There's a lot. I mean, like I said, I know
every fighter has kind of different moments when they can impact you in different ways. But what's the one that sticks out in your head right now?
Mine would probably be George St. Pierre.
Oh,
Oh, okay. I love George St. Pierre.
for the simple fact that he wanted to be great at everything. He wanted to be a great boxer, great kickboxer, great jujitsu, great wrestling. So he made sure he took every aspect of MMA serious. And and I don't watch as much as I used to now, so I can't, I don't want to, knock any current guys, but the fights I do see, I can see people train probably one thing, and they kind of gloss over everything else, and it kind of, you get exposed when you fight that guy that's well rounded. Well, George St. Pierre could beat you, four different ways, take you down. He can roll with you, stand up, he'll probably knock you out. And Khabib was the same way too. Like Khabib, when
Oh man,
he was Khabib, he was, he would dismantle you, but he could, any way you wanted to fight, he could fight with you. And
dude,
those
he
are
would
the
just
guys
use
that,
his grappling to just
yeah,
wear people down and just
yeah. I
get
mean, he
people
was,
fighting.
but yeah, George St. Pierre was more of my guy in my time. MMA, boxing wise, I was always, Sugar Ray, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather. Those are always, I could watch any of those fights. Uh, I knew they were going to put on, they were going to put on a good show. Roy Jones, even, in his heyday, I knew he would put on a good show. But like I say, all around, looking at somebody that's determined to be great at everything, George St. Pierre is probably one of those guys. Every time I watched, I was like, man, he could fight you any way you like. He can, and that's the epitome of martial arts. Can you adapt to the other guy?
I was gonna ask the next question, like what makes a great fighter, and there it is. The
To be
ability
able to
to
adapt to
adapt.
the other guy. And if you can't, you're probably, he's a good ground guy. If you can't adapt to that, you're probably gonna lose. He's a good striker, and you can't adapt to that, you're probably gonna lose. So it's being able, what Bruce Lee said, you got to be like water. You got to be able to bend
Yeah.
just like
yes,
that next
so
guy. If you
true,
can't,
so true.
you will lose.
Achu, I think you had something that you wanted to bring up. I'll be right back.
Ah, yes. So, if one of the reasons why I created the Peoria Martial Arts Forum, well, like brought everyone together. Phil and others are more of the brains. I'm the guy who reaches out to people mostly, but
Yeah.
so I started this because we have the mutual goals of wanting to turn Peoria into combat sports hub because we have so many talented people here. Like we interviewed
Dantes Boyd.
Dante
Yeah.
Boyd, and
Boyd, yeah.
Alan Rensing. We've interviewed Alan earlier this week, so they were very phenomenal people with massive amounts of potential and drive in them. So how do you think Peoria can empower fighters in the area? What would you like to see more happen?
Uh, Friendly, say inner city friendly competition, but more so helping promote other fighters.
Okay.
Yeah, you always need inner city healthy competition, but you can do that in sparring. But if Dantes was having a fight, his gym shouldn't be the only gym that's making sure people know he's fighting. It should be, that community that's promoting and helping people know that even if you're not going, send a shout out, send a something to Dantes Boyd to let him know you're supporting him because he has a fight coming. And that should be a community thing, especially in a town as big as ours. There's not too many shows in town, so you probably know one or two of the players in one of these sports. So to say you can't get in touch with somebody is almost unbelievable. You can find somebody who knows somebody, and if we get that one general goal to uplift every athlete, whether he's from your gym or not, to make sure he gets that, knows that, man, you're going out, Core Fitness and Boxing said, good luck on your next fight, and wherever you are, hopefully you do well. And just knowing people are supporting you, it means a lot. And hopefully it'll start to build that community where Dantes can go to any local gym in Peoria and get some training in, and doesn't have to be a quote unquote member to help further his skills, or help him out and get a little better. If there's a sparring day going on, you shouldn't have to be a member or be excluded because you're not a part of this gym to help, further that fighter's progress.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that recently, and ways that we might be able to help. Try to raise sponsorship dollars for people that want to grow their skill set, but may not have the resources available to them. And that could be a route to go.
Yeah, and I know,
I would take a
and
call.
it's still a business, so I understand it's a business. So people do have to keep the lights on and the doors open, and you can't let everybody show up for free. But even you know, uh, like you said, sponsorships where you got a sponsor that promotes 14 weeks of sparring for 8 guys that they can go around and get sparring for 14 weeks, and they know it's the bill's been covered, so they can just come in and get that training, especially for the ones who are like the serious athletes that are still competing. uh and just to attest for my gym, my doors are always open. I've known Vicky and Dantes and guys over at Pack. So when I hold a sparring session and they give a call and say, man, can we come and get some training in, come on over. Because I would rather see them succeed than fail. Because again, Peoria looks good, Pack looks good, KOK looks good, we all look good.
Yeah, their success is yours. All boats must rise. I
They
think
look bad.
Anchuman's heard me say that a million
Yeah,
times.
we look bad, Peoria looks bad. And that's what you don't want. It's not about look at me, it has to be look at us. Because you go somewhere and lose, well, that's that guy's from Peoria. Oh man, yeah, he was the best in town. Oh wow, we just that must not be a good fighting city. So we want to make sure that everybody looks good.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
and
it's entirely about the ecosystem. It's
yeah,
about everything that happens around the fighters, and the fighters also need to feel confident that they have the support going into something like this. Not only is it the physical aspect of it, it's exhausting. The mental aspect of it too. I mean, when you talk about a fighter for the first time going and putting themselves out there to battle an opponent. Like you can't fake that. Like you're gonna get
yes.
exposed if you don't know what's going on,
And
or I
for
mean, or even worse, like you could get hurt.
and for all our first timers, that's what we're like. We're still coaching the skill, but we're 2 weeks, 3 weeks out. We're coaching the mental now. We're coaching that aspect you just spoke on. That this is it's crunch time. And if you're not prepared for this mentally, because you could walk out and look in them stands and see 500 people. All of a sudden, it's not like looking at 8 people in the gym. There's 500 people looking back at you, expecting you to perform. And you don't want that mental side to break. And then all of a sudden, like you said, that's a quick injury, or something bad could happen if you're not prepared mentally to take on somebody in a combat sport. So
Yeah, man. Can you imagine just getting out there and then just freezing and
freezing up,
not being
yeah, and
able?
I've seen
Oh,
it.
dude, that would be a nightmare. It's like, how do you come back from that? You'd have to have just like such an awesome corner.
Yeah, and what I tell the coaches too, I was like, and I know Achu doesn't have any kids, but like for you, you can't coach every kid the same, just like you can't raise all your kids the same.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
So what works for this guy in the corner might not work for this guy. So as a coach, you have to be able to adapt to who you're coaching. And if you're not giving them a real 100% of your time in training, you won't know that kid when you get into the corner. You won't know how to coach him because you're not really coaching him. You got to know their turn-offs, their turn-ons. And so coaching is more than just, showing the X's and O's. You got to learn the kids. You actually got to let the kids know that you care about them, and you have to want to actually learn about the kid. Once you learn about the kid, easy to coach. You don't know the kid, it's going to be hard to coach.
Yeah, I think that goes for just about any skill that
Everything.
you're trying to
Yeah.
learn. Anything. Well, that's another thing is I found boxing to be a very translatable skill. Much more than I ever anticipated. Very much like chess. You know, I kind of see boxing and mixed martial art as like the ultimate chess match. Like you
It
have to
is.
have every bit of it, but not only do you have to have like the everything up here in your brain ready to go, but if you haven't trained it into your body, like it doesn't matter. It's all for naught. Like it's
Yes, the muscle memory. And that's what we kind of like us, and I've been under Ryan. Like I said, he showed me a lot of things in coaching, but basketball, my basketball coaches and, track coaches and football, you learn something from every coach. And that muscle memory, like I tell the kids, I can turn the lights off now and make you tie your shoes, and you can tie your shoes in the dark because of the muscle memory. Your boxing needs to be the same way, because in the ring, when you can't hear me and everything is seeming, you have to go to muscle memory because you don't have time to think about it. You just have to be able to do it. And I said that's the ultimate goal for any martial artist, is to be on autopilot,
I got two
not to be
questions.
thinking, just on autopilot.
Do you ever mess around with Dutch Muay Thai?
I have not, but I've known of some Dutch Muay Thai kickboxers.
Oh,
Oh,
dude, I love it. It's one of my favorite. So the other question I had was for kickboxing specifically, or Muay Thai. What's your favorite combo?
So for me, and this is the one that worked for me actually in competition, it was right round kick to the thigh, right knee to the body, another right round kick to the body. So I would go kick, knee, kick, all on the same side.
Interesting. So you just like, okay, so you're hitting, locking it, and like bringing your hip back.
Yes.
Okay,
And
so,
and
wow.
again, different things for different people. I was fortunate enough to be able to athletically pull that off.
Yeah,
Right
I'm like
round
just
kick,
thinking
right
about the
knee.
mechanics of it. Like,
Yes. Right round kick, right knee, right round kick.
man, that's awesome. I
I
just
would
love
do
doing my
that one,
switch kicks.
or I would do right round kick, left hook, right round kick.
Oh
I hit
yeah,
you the
that's a
right round,
classic.
throw a left hook, and then throw another right round.
What about boxing?
So boxing, maybe my favorite combo is I do a lot of jab, move in off the jab, right uppercut, left hook, right uppercut.
Oh, dude,
No,
that's
jab,
yeah.
move in off the jab, throw a right uppercut, left hook to a right uppercut, all while slipping. Like
I
like
say like I can see I'm like I can feel myself starting like watching your shoulders and like
yeah,
slipping
so
your punches as you start to throw them
yeah,
in
I would
camera.
throw the jab, slip in, uppercut, hook, uppercut. So, and it would work for me pretty good. It would work, but again, like I said, there was, God gives you everybody certain talents, and I was blessed athletically to be able to pull some of that stuff off. So, and that's
Yeah.
another thing I learned with coaching. I can't coach my kids on what I used to be able to do, because for some of them kids that doesn't work. I have to find the best avenue for them.
So are you coaching mainly like Muay Thai? Or are you coaching boxing
I do
or what?
both, Muay
Okay,
Thai
so
and
you're
boxing.
in it on
Yep.
both ends of it. Do you guys
And
do what kind of grappling program do you have there?
so we
Are you
have
doing that too?
jujitsu. Yeah, we have. I haven't grappled in years. But so again from
They're about to blow my mind with your skill set.
yeah, but I did pancration. I did the Greek form of grappling
oh,
with Ted Sinatus. So I did pancration with him. So again, and that's where me and Blackerby and some of those guys, that's where we kind of got introduced. We were doing MMA before MMA became a thing. That's why when
oh,
that first UFC came out, we were all, everybody
yeah,
was passing that videotape around from UFC one, because we were doing Muay Thai kickboxing, Kali Eskrima, that's the Filipino stick fighting.
yes.
Then we were doing the Greek pancration. We was doing that, 2 or 3 times a
Oh,
week.
wow, that's a story in itself.
So we were MMA, 2 or 3 times a week. So
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that Blackerby and that group were ahead of their time.
yeah, it was a good group. We had Dave Rogers out of Bloomington. Dane Lacey, his son Luke is fighting now, but we had Dane
Oh
Lacey
yeah,
from up
he's
in
my
Iowa.
favorite, the chef.
Yeah, so Dave Rogers, Ryan Blackerby, Dane Lacey, like those guys so I was fighting under Ryan. Dave had his kids out of Bloomington. Dean had his kids out of Iowa, but we all so again it was a good atmosphere. It was a good time for the sport back then, and it's looking good now. I've seen I keep eyes on them, and a buddy of mine is actually uh, up in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I fought him in my last fight at the Riverplex. I fought him, and he's a Muay Thai coach up there now. He's sending kids to compete with for Team USA and Muay Thai. So you see so you see it's reached out and it's impacted a lot of people. But like I said, if Ryan had not been a great coach, if Dave Rogers and the kids that we were around in that gym had not been good kids, there's no I probably wouldn't be here now doing this. So it all, like you said, works hand in hand. It was a community. But yeah, I know grappling, I know boxing, Kali Extrema, know some stick fighting, know some little bit of I know boxing. So yeah, I kind of, and I tell people my boxing did not get better until I was implementing Muay Thai footwork in my boxing.
Oh,
Interesting. Well, hey, we're
The the
talking
the
about GSP earlier, and just recently he was quoted as saying that he's seen a lot of guys, essentially leave their careers in the gym. Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean it's not for everybody.
Well, I mean, what he was saying is they essentially they're sparring so hard that
Yeah,
they're knocking other people down, they're getting knocked down, they're having to face
and
work through all these injuries.
we do not do that. That's one of my biggest things here. There's a time to go 100%, but we got 18 to 20 ounce gloves on, the headgear, let you go at it that way, but you're still safe. You can still throw the punch as hard as you want, but you got a lot of more safety vices in play. But other than that, yeah, see, I'm not one that you learn by pounding somebody's brain in sparring, because you don't win sparring.
Say, what do you think? What would your advice be to somebody who's maybe trying to, get their kids that are maybe like 10, 12 years old into boxing? Like, what would your advice for a parent be to keep them safe?
Sit in on a practice. See, I never like gyms that don't let you sit in and see how somebody's coaching your child, because you need to make sure, number one, they're safe. And I let every parent, if you want to stay, sit and stay, because there should be no kids realistically doing any sparring within the first 6 months of learning how to box, like actual hard contact sparring, because they don't know how to box. Like, and there's
Yeah,
drills we do here that it's considered sparring, but it's so controlled that you won't take any damage. Say for instance, we do a jab for jab drill where you defend the jab and I throw the jab. Well, you're sparring. That's sparring, but it's controlled. So you get a chance to see a jab coming and learn how to defend it without the pressure of somebody trying to bash your brains in.
that's
Because once you
awesome.
get that muscle memory, you'll learn how to defend it, whether it's coming, hot or cold. But you have to learn how to defend it first.
Well,
So yeah, so
everybody's
for
seen the video of some gym bully coming around just beating people down for whatever no reason.
yeah,
So
and again, and USA Boxing affiliated gyms, number one, that's against the rules anyway. They strictly prohibit that type of unsafe sparring for any USA Boxing sanctioned gym. Just for that fact alone, if your son came in and I let the 120-pound kid hit your 90-pound son in the face as hard as he could and hurt him, and he's no longer wants to box and he gets hurt, see, that falls on your gym and USA Boxing. So you have to make sure that, again, you're not allowing these kids to get hurt or get damaged for the ego purposes. Like, we don't mind, like, I don't mind people, videotaping their sparring. I do mind if you're videotaping and going back and showing, unsavory parts of the sparring, gloating. Like I said, character is one of the biggest things that I look for here. I mean, I don't mind if you spar, But again, you should treat everybody like they're your training partner, not your opponent.
So I know this is a
Yeah,
bit
yeah, I
maybe.
totally agree.
So
I've certainly been on the wrong end of some of those.
so I know this is a massive change of subject, but so in regards to the upcoming Midwest Showdown, so what are the dates and time for that? So this is so our viewers actually know when to come, and this is also to help get word out.
Yes, so the date is July 26th. The time, the gates open at 6:30. The fights start at 7:30. So you'll get a chance. Actually, the gates open at 6 because you get 90 minutes. So uh, and then we're looking to start at 7:30. That's July 26th. It's a Friday night. It's after 4th of July, so you might as well come see fireworks. One more time downtown, and we're going to be here at the Civic Center. You
So
know,
is it all amateur? Is it amateur and
all
professional?
amateurs,
So
all
this is
amateurs.
all amateur. So this is the cream of the crop of Central Illinois, amateur boxing program. Awesome.
Yes, and again, it's USA Boxing sanctioned, so it's hosted and put on through the USA Boxing, which they're volunteers. The refs, the officials, the timekeep, they're all volunteers. So the more support we get from people coming out, we can also help take care of these people that's volunteering their time to come help us have these events. And like you said, this is debut. I mean, we got kids with 0 fights, we got kids with 25 fights fighting. So you'll get a broad range of skill going on, but they're going to be some nice, exciting, fun fights um, that hopefully Peoria and the surrounding areas find a love for again. And every time they see a local show, they'll come out and support that local show.
Yeah. Speaking of, if there's anybody out there listening that wants to get involved and become a referee or an official, please hit us up on either Facebook or any other method you can. PeoriaLife.com. We have connections in with USA Boxing. We'd be happy to get the ball rolling for you.
Oh yeah, and I know they can't see this through the radio, but this is what.
Oh, there's the strap.
Yeah, so this is what they'll get a chance to win, and we got 2 of them. We got this one with that logo on it, and then again we were sponsored by. We had a lot of great sponsors, but River City Roofing sponsored as well. So the fight of the night will go to. So somebody's going to get a chance to win 2 belts.
Well, yeah. So what are the belts for? So one
So
was fight of the night. What's the other one?
and one's just for if you win your bout. So you win your bout, you get to take home a belt.
That's awesome.
You get to go brag to all your buddies that you won your fight, and you can wear the belt to school if you like it.
So yeah, getting some hardware like that to hang up on the wall. I'm still waiting to do TBAs and try to get some hardware. Try.
And then that fight of the night, we're going to kind of maybe look towards the fans. We're going to probably make a Facebook page that night and have the polls going with all the contestants, so you can get on and vote for the best fight you've seen, and whoever wins that fight of the night, they'll get that other belt. So
Man, that's fantastic. And again, that's going to be at the Civic Center on July 26th. Doors
July
open at
26th.
6:30 p.m. Fights start at 7:30. How many bouts do we have?
We have 13 bouts.
13 bouts.
Yep, 13 bouts. Concessions will be open. We'll have a VIP bar. We're going to have VIP bands available for sale. But what that'll do, it'll get you to the VIP bar, so you can skip everybody else and go to
what kind of food?
Yeah, they'll have food. Well, so you'll have all the food that they would serve at a Bradley game or a Riverman game. All that food will be available, and as well as the alcohol. You'll have your alcohol consumers there. So you get that VIP bracelet, you'll get to that VIP bar, so you can skip that line, get your drink, get back to your seat before the rumble starts. I can't think of Dustin's last name. I feel bad, but Dustin, he does the Bradley games, and I think he does the Chiefs games as well. He's the MC for the games. He's going to be the MC for our show as well.
Oh,
So
awesome.
so he'll be there putting his flair on the fights. And like I said, I just hope the people of Peoria come out and come see a great show, and hopefully they go home happy.
Yeah, check out the Midwest Showdown at Ticketmaster.com. We'll be putting the link in the comments down there. Anshuman,
Yes. Wait, what? I'm sorry.
anything else?
I think that's a pretty high note to end on. Really.
I'd say so. Michael, thank you so much for being here today. And
Hey,
tell
I
us about
appreciate
your
I appreciate
story
the time, fellas. I mean, anything we can do to help grow the forum, grow Peoria, grow combat sports in
Yes.
this area in general.
Yes.
Happy to do it.
See.
Hey, and we're absolutely behind that 100%. That's exactly what we're here to do.
All right, gentlemen. Well, you have a great evening.
You too.
If I don't see you again, hopefully I see you July 26th.
Oh, you will. You can bet on that.
See ya. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Take care.